Hey, this is Tracy Lewis with Stuff and Things. It is Paper Pumpkin Day on Saturday the 16th, and I am determined to get this done today. Alright, I am back. Here is a paper pumpkin. Here is the name. It is called Memorable Meadows, March 2024. It came very early again, so I'm hoping I can crank this out today. We have a free stamp set, and it is a set of flowers. And then remember, we had a change to how they do the stamps, and they no longer have the black labeling on them. So I have to open the container of the packaging with the materials and find the artwork for us, so we know what it is on our stamps. Okie doke. So I don't see any artwork there. Let's see. Here we go. All right. First off, our spot is garden green. Wonderful mixed font. Have a beautiful birthday. You've been on my mind. A cute little flower. Has a hand-drawn look. Heartfelt thanks. It's the little things that matter. And then some two-step images that fill in. So this is the main image, and then these different pieces fill in the middle. And I like that we have some speckles. All right. I'm gonna try not to look at that. Normally it's not so front and center for me. We have some wood dies, and let's see how many panels. I'm not sure how thick this wood is. It is one thick sheet. So you have 3 trees. Looks like at least 2. We have this sprig and then a bigger sprig. So we have all 3 of these pieces to play with. Very nice. Don't forget that you can color these if you don't like them the natural wood. All right, we've got some clear sequins, 2 different sizes, adhesive backed, dimensionals, and double-sided adhesive dots. Oh, we have nice artwork. Look at that. Let's see. So these are front and back. Lovely. Oh, this makes me happy when I see this, because I can cut these into pieces. Very nice. So that's one design. Let's see if our envelopes, we have all 9 envelopes, all with the same inside, and it does go all the way through, so you can do some fun things with some of these envelopes should you choose to do so. We have another full side. This is a vertical piece of art. Love that I can cut it into strips, make a lot of use out of that. And then we have 8 labels. So we have that label, and then a long, narrow label. And here's the 3rd card base. Very nice, and also vertical. Oh, we have even more labels. So we have 3 different labels, and then some black purple vellum. Whew. The vellum is 2 different sizes. So we have some long, skinny rectangle and a shorter, fatter rectangle. So now I can go off and work on my alternatives, and I will be back as I have supplies prep to share, as well as added supplies. So stay tuned. I am back. I have some supplies. I've done some prep, and I'm going to get through probably the supplies and prep and not do mixing and matching tonight. I am not going to stay up super late. So for supplies, I went through and found a whole bunch of supplies. I double checked as much as I could to make sure what I am showing you is current. And so first is the loose frosted dots. They are pink, pretty peacock, and a yellow. But of course, the colors, here they are off of the one of the images. And where is it? There you go. So all three of these colors go perfectly. And so that is absolutely an option for you. The pretty peacock goes with the kind of blue greens up here and even down into the scene. In fact, you can see it better if you put it on a light part of the painting, and it'll go even better if you are cutting them up. I haven't done my mixes and matches, but I will be using these. And here is the pink going with the fresh freesia. There's a pink on top of the fresh freesia. But that goes perfectly with it. And then here's your yellow, which goes on the centers nicely. The trim options, which are closer, we have this green and light blue. Any of the baker's twines tend to go. Not so much with this one, though you can see the sky, it works. And then this is the scene that I saw this as a great match. If you're going with a more casual look, you are given gold. So I have, sorry, my turquoise or Tahitian tide rather is coming off the end of the spool. I hate when it does that. Okay, so those two look very nice. And if you're thinking a more fancy card because you have the gold on these labels, either this new gold leather, fake leather, faux suede, has little gold glints in it, and all of these shapes have gold. And then the 1/8 gold as well would make a very nice addition. The gold I do have out for yet even more formal look is with the gold trim, and I would probably color this maybe green. Because it's already very vanilla, it probably won't make a good fresh freesia or purple, so I'm thinking green for this one. And then there is linen thread as well. I have the essentials or the basics that has the 5 different colors, and then just the linen thread itself as well. So those are for the trims. Oh, and then there was a whole bunch. Where did I put them? Right here. A whole stack of different ideas. You have these 2 pearls. Color them or leave them white. The choice is yours. Festive pearls are still around. I look like I don't have any gold, but I would be doing gold. These light green ones might also, you could color them. You could probably color the silver. There's all sorts of sequins right now that happen to have white. This bluey green, which is pretty peacock. The pink actually goes really well over here. And or a gold white, gold pink. And again, all 3 of these colors work. These will all be on the supplies list. The one that I think has the most colors that match is called the Adhesive Backed Sequins Trio, and then there's the neutrals, white and gold. Then there's always the brushed metallic dots in the gold or the brass, and then we even have the rustic metallic dots, I believe is what they're called, that are this color, and they're smaller. So lots of options there. Then for embossing folders, I worked really hard on some new options for us. I always go to my go-tos. So I have pulled some, the go-tos I'm going to show you, but that's not what I'm going to work with this time. So I use the timber a lot. I love the basics crisscross hatching pattern. Those I am setting aside because I am not going to use them. And brand new, just got it. Fun patterns. If you look at it, it's like a daisy. And this is either a daisy, it's daisy, but echinacea shaped daisies. So this would be nice as a multiple panel layout. So I will probably emboss something with that. I did take an envelope apart and picked the painted texture. I don't want to lose these. Let's put these safely aside. So, painted texture, and that is what it looks like. It's a little bit soft for having the painted texture on it, so I would probably run it through with a layer of basic white behind it and apply them together. Or if you do want them this soft, it would be nice if the edges were torn and actually pieces of this were torn. So maybe that's what I will do with it. So I really like the painted texture with this treatment. I pulled for me, this was last year at the end of Celebration. Last year they added the spots and dots die, so I was able to get it. And so there are all these holes. And I think we have, I believe, a purple-ish glimmer. And by tomorrow I will figure it out. And we'll grab it so we can play with some peek-through colors. I do have Gorgeous Grape, Highland Heather, and Fresh Freesia. So here's what Highland Heather looks like. And then let me grab Fresh Freesia. Yeah, that looks nice. So yeah, you can still see the scene through the holes. So it's kind of a neat treatment. And I could see layering something up. I'm going to just grab this. I have white heat embossed. That's another trick I love to use. I did not center it very well on this rectangle vellum. So I'm on the hunt for a die cut for this. And I found a fun embossing folder. So, raindrops. I'm not sure why. I have 3 brand new embossing folders. There's raindrops. Notice it says raindrops upside down and Stampin' Up is upside down. I just got zinnia. Zinnia is sideways. They're up sideways. So I'm just letting you know, when you get your embossing folders, it doesn't matter which way you fold them. It does matter which way you put them through the embossing, the die cutter. So you'll want to have the closed end go first, even though my image, you'll notice here, is upside down. And then this one can be any which way. It's just whatever, all of these flowers. So these are 3 new embossing folders. This one isn't as new as the other 2. So let's take a look at this. I've done the scene. This is from when Playin' in the Rain came out last year. That's when this came out. And I need to find my sanding block. I actually used my sanding block for a project, a wood project. So I'm not sure if it is put away. Huh. Anyhow, by tomorrow I will have this found. You can see the dots, and because we have our white core, I am going to be able to sand these raindrops, and they should look really cool. So let's see, what have I shown? Have I shown everything? Oh no, I have one last treatment. So think of tone on tone. So I did do one stamped image. That's fresh freesia on fresh freesia. And then I also, with this big free stamp that we got, I have a piece of basic white here. And I just did a video, if you haven't gone to see it, it is taking the plane in the rain to do my spring cards and coloring the clouds as many ways as I could think of with the supplies that Stampin' Up! Offers. So that was a fun video. And I'm going to now illustrate one of the types of coloring I talked about but did not demonstrate. So I talked about last year, listen to me, in 2017, we were on the road and we were in an accident in Texas, and our trailer was destroyed. So I lost everything in the trailer, which was really all of our stuff, including all of my craft supplies. So when I got home, it took us a while to get home from Texas. There was lots of things to work through, lots of hoops. And when we made it home, the very first thing I bought was a set of Stampin' Write markers, because you can ink up your stamps like this. It works even better if you're using a positioner tool, because then, like, I can see as I'm inking this up, this is a fresh new stamp. And so what happens is the ink will bead up. So the best way to do this is using a positioner tool, and then you can stamp it repeatedly till you like it, and you can take the plate and sit here and ink up each part very carefully so that you have a well stamped image. And I am going to do a pink of a fresh freesia flower. Trying not to hit the green. Since I don't have my positioner tool out to make this perfect, and it's getting late for me, and I'm trying not to stay up super late, this won't be perfect, but I do want to illustrate how well this works. For years before I owned any Stampin' Up! Stamps, I had a few dots stamps and a couple of Marvy markers, and that is how I made cards. In fact, everybody got the same happy birthday stamp with confetti every year, stamped the same way, inked up the same way. And it wasn't until I was introduced to Stampin' Up! That I thought, oh my gosh, look at all these different fun things I can make. Okay, so I can't even see the pink on there. I see a little bit of it. Let's see if I can get a little yellow, because there are centers to these flowers. I think these are also, I'm going to do a black as well. Oh, I see. It actually is an outline here. So you could also do black ink and then color these in. Blends would be very nice to color them in with, and that I did demonstrate. As well as I have a cushion over here to the side This won't be perfect, but let's just see. It will be a very unique look. So since I don't have my positioner tool out, here is what we've got. It still came out very cute. The other thing that I did not talk about that you can use the Stampin' Write markers for, the thin side, it's a very fine tip, and you can use it to clean up. I mostly use it for cleaning up text. I would not normally, because normally I would get my positioner tool out and I would fix all these blobs by redoing the green. I could see that the green was blobbing. But I also want to show you, maybe not everybody has the positioner tool who gets paper pumpkin. So perhaps, and this is a sketchy looking flower. It's not a really clear line art. It is meant to be somewhat incomplete looking. So I thought the pink and the yellow came out pretty good. It's just this green happens to be very beading. If I was braver, I could try to use the brush and kind of have it be artistic, like I brushed it on, hand brushed it. I don't often get the opportunity to use these markers as actual markers. This must be the week of being artistic. So something like that. What's funny is, since I'm already doing sketchy marker stuff, I might as well make it consistent. And then I have this. You could cover some of that green, though I'm not doing layouts right now. I just wanted to throw that out there. So that is a fun way to play with the stamps. Then the other hand stamped thing I did was this fresh freesia. And then my last thing to go through tonight for prep is something really fun, and that is, you have the wood piece. So I like this. This is either water or a walk a path. So I have this sitting here, and then, oops, somewhere, I just had it. Here we go. I use the You've Been on My Mind. But here is what the power of colored pencils. So I did show the colored pencils. These are watercolor. The olive green and the early espresso are from set 1, assortment 1. And these, the garden green and the granny apple green, are from assortment 2. I'm going to hit back. Let's make sure I have it right. Correct. So, assortment 2, assortment 1, a total of 4 pencils. These pencils are quite old. I had to get a new assortment one, I believe. They swapped out, yeah, because pecan pie is in one of them. This one is the early espresso, because here, if you're feeling artsy, I colored the tree. And yes, I could have done a better job, but I was just trying to illustrate that you can color this tree, and colored pencils go really well on wood. These pencils are just inexpensive watercolor pencils, and they feel really good on this wood. So if you're really good at using water or the colored pencils, and you could try adding water, activating the pigment, and see what kind of effects you can get. But this is pretty much just your basic squiggles and lines to illustrate a purpose. And here's the You've Been on My Mind there with the tree, and you add some masculine dots there, and boom, you have a wonderful masculine card. I think that's all I've got for tonight. So again, tomorrow we'll be mixing and matching. I'm going to be doing a little more prep in the morning when I am more wakeful. Don't throw away your purple vellum, because there are some lines. These are pretty thin, but these two lines are pretty thick. And the top and bottom here of this one, here, I'll show it this way, thick. And these are pretty thick. So you've got at least 6 thick lines that you can add as layers, doing line like underneath the long white label, for instance. You can do some fun treatments like that. So don't throw these away. And I think that's it. So stay tuned for the next segment, which will be coming in the morning. All right, it is the next morning. I watched some of the video last night, and I realized that there's another trick for helping photopolymer stamps be primed. I know that you can sand the stamp. I don't prefer that method, so what I'm going to do is, I had mentioned that this would be a nice image to color in, so I am priming it with Versamark, which is what I should have done last night. So I was trying to think of ways that we can not have to use a stamp positioner. So let me see. In the end, the stamp positioner will always give you a better image, because you can repeat stamp as many times as you need. So I just put the Versamark on the stamp. Now I have put on Tuxedo Black, and I am going to grab a fresh piece of cardstock, and that is a perfect image. So now what I have never tried, that is what that image looks like. And now what I've never tried is Versamark and then inking with the markers. I have cleaned this. I am going to Versamark it. I've got the same 3 pens, markers, and I am going to see what happens. I can see this a lot better today. And what we're looking for is if it beads up less. This is our chance. I am huffing on it, as we call it. So there it is. You can already see that the beading is minimized, and I would be happy with that. So here's the side that I had to color in, and here is the side that I used Versamark. just can't find the black now. I will return. All right, so we have now this black image, and I have these two-step stamps. I'm going to go ahead and give them a go. I will assume that it would be best if I primed them, and I am going to grab I have Highland Heather, Garden Green, I see that there are some flower centers here. I'm going to grab a Gorgeous Grape for that. And then we'll just see how this goes. I have this size block, that will work. All right, so I am working on the large flowers. I am versa marking. Then I am grabbing Highland Heather. That's going to be juicy, probably pretty dark. Okay, so now I have to look straight down as best I can. And until that dries, it's going to be super dark. I'm going to grab the here's that direction that goes in. That is going to be Gorgeous Grape. Dark as can be. It's best to again look straight down. Lovely. I wish I would have got the Highland Heather lined up better, but that's okay for demonstration purposes, and I would still use it. All right, now we've got the yellow. I will say I forgot to prime these, didn't I? And they looked fine. If you're in doubt, just put the Versamark on. You can. I have not found it to hurt anything. It doesn't seem to hurt the pads. I'm just cleaning here. As I go. And this is a very small yellow, so I am going to go ahead. I don't even think it really has to be Versamarked, but there's that. And since I don't want to grab the pad, this must be this one. And for that matter, on the other one, I am just going to go ahead and ink it up. Last bit would be the big leaf. And then I have one other thing I wanted to show you related to these stamps, just as a reminder. Okay, leaf. Versamark, because we know the green was the one that beaded quite badly. And remember, the beading actually wasn't the pad, it was the marker. And everything behaves a little differently. Formulas do change over time. So here we go. Again, I gotta look straight down. And there you have it. Now, I've got the flower done 3 ways. This was not primed, and I hand did the green. This was primed, and here is black with the 2-step or multi-step, because actually the flowers themselves are a 4-stepper. And those are going to dry. I am going to show you one last thing, and then we will get into I might have to pause and go away to make sure I have enough pieces cut up, embossed. I think I have a couple of things I wanted to emboss. I have a label that as of last night I was looking for a shape for. That's this one right here. So I have a couple of things I want to prep before I do the mix and matching so that it goes smoothly. And I could also clean up my stamping mess over here. So we have that artwork that came right here. And I want to show you how you should put back your, this is a little bit different size, but let's see. I don't know if it's 100%. Let's check. It's a little bit smaller. But it gives us the idea of how we should place these. Now these I didn't move. Oh, that's interesting. These 2 pieces are yet another multi-part. Very nice. That's funny. It's not. I have to do it face down. Well, that's not very helpful, is it? Okay, so we will do this. And if I was doing it it would be face down. So I am going to, I'm putting these all face down on the soft, this is the soft cover. I don't do this often, so that's why I was trying to figure out what I needed to do. Face down. So the part that's sticking up is the part of the stamp that would go on the block. That is the correct way. Just like that. We've got the big flowers, and I didn't use this corner. I'm just out of curiosity going to okay, so these 2, this long spindly looking stamp is actually a 2-parter. It's the center of the green, so I could stamp green on green and get another level of effect if I wanted. And then these dots I think are just added little dots to look cute wherever you would want to put them. Okay, so I'm not quite done because on here, face down, I have to put the center. Now everything is in its place. So I line up the top with the 2 stamps that are face down. And I'd like to be a little more precise than that. There. And everybody has room and everybody fits, and that is an example of how this artwork is supposed to work. And even though this is done a little bit smaller, it still gives you a layout that you can follow. Roughly, you can see that the images are bigger. Yeah, pretty good. All right, so again, I am ready to do some mix and matching. Before I go, I told you that I couldn't find my sanding block, and I have since found it. So, wanting to make sure that the raindrop image is prepped and ready to go, have it right here. This is always super fun, very easy to do. You're going to have the bigger impact down here in the colored areas. So that is what the raindrops look like. And then I would probably trim, I would be trimming this down because I'd like it to have a matte. I'm not sure what the layers are I'll be putting on top, but I will just go ahead and rough up the edges so that some of that white shows after I trim it down. There, I have caught up from last night. I am glad I remembered this morning to do the Versamark tricks and do the multi-step free stamp set so you can see what it looks like. And we will make that into a couple of layouts, and I'll be back shortly. I am finally back, and I'm ready to do, I already did photography, so I'm kind of thinking it is okay if I don't replicate exactly what I took photographs of, because that'll give you even more ideas. So I have been also putting chapter timestamps so that it will help you go right to either the layouts or the added supplies or prep. So hopefully that has been helpful for you. And first I'm going to take this image and I'm going to show you some of the background colors, the matte colors. And then we'll start building up some options. So I have pulled, of course, white as my typical base that I like to go with. I've got a gorgeous grape base. And some of these scenes do better with certain colors. This is, oh, that's not going to work because that one is trimmed down. This must be trimmed down also. Huh. Okay, that is a trim down. Both of those are trimmed down Highland Heather. Let's go with Fresh Freesia. This is a Fresh Freesia background matte. Now I am curious, since both of these Highland Heathers are trimmed down, here is a full-size Highland Heather for a possible matte. And then I did mention wanting to find some glitter paper, and I found it. It is current, it is available, and this is the purple I had in mind. I actually ended up finding quite a few. So here is the Highland Heather Fresh Freesia. It has a little bit of a tint of Fresh Freesia, though darker, and it's a little bit pinker with the Highland Heather. So I've cut a strip of this. I also have a full piece of this for a special treatment. And then this is a set. There are 5 colors in this set, and these are a shimmer from this year. So this is like a starry sky, and you can see how well that goes with it. If you get one that has a little blue-green tint to it, which is the daisy scene that I am looking for right here, you can see that with this color up in the background, this pretty peacock color, this shimmer will go. I've already built the supplies list on my blog, so that, because there were so many additional items, way more than I normally do, and I tried to stick with Thoughtful Expressions is the bundle, and I have that bundle attached already. So I chose that bundle because of the shape. I picked the die cut for this Have a Beautiful Birthday, cutting it out of the gorgeous grape vellum, and then I also used it happened to have some nice sprigs, so I've got these cut. And the textured paper comes in balmy blue, white, and shaded spruce. So though I didn't take any photography of them, shaded spruce you can see is a little bit too bluey green. It kind of goes on this one, so each scene is a little bit different. And if you have these colors in just the regular cardstock, even though I've gone ahead and cut them in the special papers I've talked about, you could easily just substitute with the regular cardstock. Both will work. I just had so many fun different shimmers, and then I cut out pieces with stylish shapes in a variety of shapes using normal cardstock as well as specialty cardstock. So those are the two die sets that I use: stylish shapes and thoughtful expressions. All again put on my blog. I then did cut these strips as I had talked about. I made some bows. I did explore the very vanilla trim with the gold. I did the alcohol marker, and then just for fun, since I had the garden green, and garden green is not an alcohol marker, so I took the Stampin' Write garden green and I colored this. I let it dry, and it still got green all over my hands. In fact, I still have some green on my hands. So you can use the Stampin' Write markers, just be ready for it to be a little bit messy. Make sure it's completely dry. I might not have waited long enough, and it still might tend to get your fingers dirty, colored green. So because we've got a nice busy pattern, you are not likely going to do any damage to your images. If you were working on like a white image, I would say be very careful, but our images are very colored. So I think that is the end of the prep that I had promised to go off and do some research on, and that is my findings. I did actually make a square out of timber. I told you I use that all the time, and I was trying not to, but here's what the daisy pattern looks like. It goes very cute with the daisy paper. So I'm going to go ahead and start, I believe, on some layouts. Again, I am not going to be concerned this time. There are so many layouts that I already did that if I end up doing even more, that's a great thing. Oh, one more, the variegated balmy blue ribbon. It's very, very soft, and it goes very nice on any of the scenes. So I am going to grab a white. We will use this as a white. Oh, this is full size. I haven't trimmed this particular daisy down. All right, and I haven't actually used this for any scenes. So let's put together a layout. And again, this is a full size background. I have not trimmed it down, and here are some different, I'm just going to mix and match some ideas for you. I did not do the sentiments in any color other than the white heat embossed and the green. I figured I had already introduced so many different items that it was going to be getting too overwhelming for me. I do have to watch when I have, in the case of like a kit like this, that there are so many options. I just have to draw the line somewhere, or I will just never end. It will just keep going and going. So here are the cute little sprigs. Here's one bow option. If I'm doing the gold bow option to go with the gold trim around this label, I have the gold brushed dots. There's also the gold festive jewels, which I don't have many of the gold left. I like to do my embellishments bling in a triangle typically, and this is the simple version. I've already done photography where I added 2 to 3 groupings, 3 groupings of 2 to 3. How's that? It's a tongue twister. So let's go ahead and do a fancier setup. So there we go. The very first one I did not take photography of this. I didn't even use this daisy. I used a different daisy. And then if you want to keep it lighter colored, you can go ahead and use, this is actually Highland Heather. So the Highland Heather light blend on the very vanilla happens to come out very fresh freesia looking. So, and here's that glimmer paper. So we dressed that up nicely. Before I leave the daisy design alone, I am going to swap this out for the one that I already showed you that was the spots and dots. So this one has been trimmed down. I'm going to start with the white base. I'm going to take some of these same pieces and dress up the spots and dots. And you can decide to keep it grouped more tightly or stretch it out. If you were going to group it more tightly, kind of all together, your bow just needs to make sure that the tails stay out of the way of the label. Something like that. And then we can go ahead and add on our gold dots to get the theme. And again, I didn't even take a picture of anything like this either. But I think the more I throw at you guys, it will spark an idea for you with the supplies that you have. So just for fun, I want to, as I haven't done a trick that you can do that I meant to show you. Here, let's do this. I'm going to pop on the balmy blue because I think the balmy blue goes nice with this. And then if you want to add some of the purple, you can just cut this into 2 pieces because, like I told you, it's only so long. But if you cut it into 2 pieces, you can have it be as long as you want it to be. And you can angle this if you don't like cutting it. I cut it straight, but you could always angle it if you want. I didn't do a balmy blue bow. I could see this with a balmy blue bow. Balmy blue is a blend option. So that looks cute. Okay, now I'm going to leave this and I am going to attempt to slide out this white. Oh, well, I can actually leave this white because I trimmed this glitter down to size to slip behind the die cuts, the die cut daisies, rather. And for a very special person, you could do something like this. Love it. And before I let this go, I want to put on the Have a Beautiful Birthday And we could even tack on a little more texture. And we've got the purple. You've got, so this is basically one piece cut down the middle and made into like a double loop bow, and this is just a single. And I have made it flat on purpose because of where I used it, but you could fluff it up and have it fill up more space. Just pull down the tails. Because this is alcohol marker, it's a little bit stiff, so it's easy to fluff your bow and change its shape to match your use of it. Worst case, if it's really being too difficult, you can always use an adhesive dot and dot everything down, all 4 sections, so that it takes up as much room as you need it to take. I won't even put on the bling for this. You get the idea. And just for fun, I do want to share here's the fresh freesia that I made, the little stylish shapes cut in half, and that couldn't fit behind here, but I really think that the more sparkly Highland Heather version looked the best. And then you even could go with a dark, I already cut this up, I don't think I have another piece of this. Nope. There is yet a third. This is boho blue. I don't think that will go. That actually goes fine. So many options right now with everything in the catalog. They really coordinated this well. So there's the boho blue, and then you can do some blinging. That's really pretty. Yeah, so the whole idea of using these pieces to replicate the images I already took when I have so many options, I flew right out the window. Now we have to remember the blue piece, or the wood pieces. So we've got our wood pieces. You can color them as I showed you. You can color them with alcohol markers, or you can color them with the watercolor pencils. Be careful with the weight. We have a 1 ounce limit, and the wood will add weight and it will add thickness. So if you are sending these, just tread really carefully. And if you don't care how much it costs, take your completed card to the post office and they'll get you set up with how much you need to pay. I'm not sure about the green here. Maybe that'll get too colorful. No, that's all right. But I could also, this was a very odd shape for me to work with. And so let's just see how this looks. Got my little pop-up to stick underneath to give it that depth that we like. It almost makes me want to put a third shape. There. Something like that. There you go. That's what these stylish shapes, you could just cut a bunch of shapes out in either the solid cardstock or the glimmer papers, do some embossing, dry embossing in whatever you have on hand, and make nice dressed up cards without a lot of effort. And here's where I already start losing the sequins and stuff as I swap out. Okay, so let's take that away. I really like that. It's a nice layout. I love the boho blue. Didn't even think about it. Okay, moving on. I do want to do some quick, is this trimmed down? Yep. So nice, simple stamping, which I actually did quite a bit of with our free stamp set. You've got the color difference going on here. It's not terrible. So I'm going to roll with it. Again, not a design I took a picture of. I'm thinking that that is okay the way it is, and I'm going to grab some pearls. I really like these pearls. I've struggled with finding an appropriate design for them, and so far today I've really enjoyed using them with this kit. I think they're irregular shape, I guess. I have thought goes really well. Some of the photography, I went ahead and did this with these scenes where I took the yellow, popped the yellow down, and then an extra yellow just anywhere down here at the bottom. And then this looks really nice with the three up, and see, oh, there we go. I have not lost it. Keeping track of things. There we go. So I think that you can make a lot of, like if you're doing spring/Easter cards, this set is a great set. Remember that you've got 9 cards, cut in half is 18, and that's not even including all of these simple designs with that extra stamp set. So this stamp or this kit is going to go for many miles. So on the back side, I did some photography. I went ahead and used the speckle stamp and then put together a variety of photographs from simple to complex. So there is a very cute, simple design, and then you can dress it up and you can end up hiding all of this, which I had to hand color depending on how you like it or don't like it. You can do a bunch of layering from simple to elaborate. I even had a couple of photographs where I used this, which needs to get You can make that bow a little smaller if you wanted. I think that looks cute. And let's try this. I haven't used this. So in a way, this is sort of a pot, I suppose. With a little work, you could sponge the edges of this if you wanted. And, okay, we've done those two. Moving that, before I move on, I've got the multi-step example that I stamped with you guys. So there is something pretty simple. Adding in some cute bling. For whatever reason, I like these frosted loose dots really well with all of the stamped bonus flowers. Like that. Just to toss in, here is the Highland Heather Dark. And then I will go one further, pop underneath it a dark matte. Here, I should probably give you guys a sec. Yeah, I really like how that came out. All right, next. We are going to work on, this is one of my favorite go-tos. I had to do at least one. Here is a nice scene. And doing some layering a few different ways, popping that scene up. You can either cover the scene, the bows don't seem to distract from how much you can see of the scene. It still comes out very nice. And again, I really like these pearls. Moving on. I showed you this, but what I didn't show you was I have the example with the wood, and you can put your happy birthday up here. Though I really like flipping it over. I spent a little more time with this tree, and I just think for a masculine birthday card, that is just, you can't get better than that. Nice and simple. And then if you move this away, the tree has kind of the same with the dark underneath and then the light areas of the bushes up here. And then I do like this really, really well. Just simple. With nothing else. Oops, sorry. I'm gonna go back because I think I might not have made sure you could see this. Okay. And I've got the late afternoon sun. Oh yes. So we are just about finished because again, photography is already done. I love this scene standalone for whatever reason. We've done the spots and dots. I have the very simple tone on tone. And then we can build it up. Again, I have to remember to take photography of this because I have not done any photography. I think that you could just glue this wood piece on and that would look very cute. I think this, and then covering, let's say that stamped sentiment isn't there. If you stamped, you would definitely need to have the Fresh Freesia Highland Heather stamped sentiment, but this actually does work. I really like that. Hopefully I will remember to get a picture of that because I haven't even got any of that. So I'm going to set that aside as a reminder. We've got the raindrops. I went ahead and took the raindrops and sanded it. I found my sanding block. I've got an embossed purple. I might have to pause because now things are getting really messy on my desk. Found it. So I don't have to pause. All right, so either on a white background or on this Highland Heather background with, in this case, we've got green. That looks nice. And then a couple of really simple ways that you can dress this up. I might have to close my curtains. You could do a little tiny tag like off the side. I always like to do that as just a really simple way of dressing up. There's of course the green bow, just kind of up here with our pearls. I like that. I'm gonna pause and I'm gonna, all right, I have been told that that is distracting, so that is a fun mixed shape design. The other section that has the rain, I left full height. You could do any of the fun colors in the strips. I am going to look for I can't find it. That's the problem. Things are getting out of control. Okay, so we're going to do this. Start down here. And you just can build things up. I would prefer a, here, I'm going to do this way so you can see yet another texture on texture, lots of texture, just for giggles. You've been on my mind. I'm not liking that as much as I might like something with the balmy blue on it. I have some photography with this on the other side, and that I think this will be better. It's just a balance of whether the round shape or the square shape works for you. Right, so see if I missed anything. Pieces that I have not done anything with yet that I do have photography of is this. It makes a wonderful non-green, just building up of the layers. And our beautiful birthday. So you can see how that could make a very cute card. I'm gonna grab to darken it up, grab the purple. There's these strips that might be interesting somehow, some way. I've got the fresh freesia tags, fishtails that can be added. And then the only thing I really didn't do anything with, and mainly because I cut this out, is using the envelopes. So once you have exhausted all of the main pieces, there is the background. Done with the texture. I am going to pause to find it because I don't know where it has run off to. Okay, so this is the background that I did the painted texture on. It is the back of the envelope. This is the flap of the envelope. There's enough, you can see the adhesive line, so there's enough that you could do strips out of this piece up here. You can cut this down and texturize it. I did not bother because I already had a piece when I cut off the scene. This scene, I cut this off horizontally, which is, this is the sky, and this is the scene I already did a layout or two of right here. And then, as I said, once you start using up these pieces, you can decide if the envelopes, if you don't want to use them for sending, you can cut these out. I really like the painted texture embossing folder for that. And I think that I am going to call it because I'm probably well over an hour now, and I'd love to get this loaded up. So let me know your thoughts. If you have anything I missed, any cool ideas, let me know in the comments so that I can post them for everyone to glean ideas from. I did not use this dark starry sky, but I think that it is a wonderful color to add some more pop. And I think I have now touched about everything I can. Do all the YouTube things, like, share, comment, and subscribe. And thanks for watching.